Marie.
And I'm Katy.
And this month, we're going to take a little break and revamp the Difficult Women podcast. Katy, what the hell does revamp mean?
Well, the definition of revamp is an act of improving the form, structure, or appearance of something.
Well, that's perfect because that's what we're going to do this month. We're going to build a new website,
make merch,
and book some incredible guests for the future.
And this week, you can help us out by rating and reviewing the pod and sending us messages about what topics you'd be interested in hearing about.
Go ahead, shoot us an email at difficultwomenpodcast@gmail.com.
We'll be back next month with new episodes, but for now, enjoy this oldie but a goodie.
Take it away, us. Difficult
women. Bonjour.
Bonjour. Yeah, there goes the vicar with the daylight going.
Hello.
How's it going?
I'm your host, Marie.
I'm your host, Katy.
And welcome to
Difficult Women. I definitely forgot the name of our podcast for a second. I was like, what is it called? It's like, oh, all right.
If you're just tuning in, we are the musical comedy duo Reformed Whores.
Mm-hmm. And we have been called difficult, so we started this podcast.
Yep.
Talk about
And we're in our pajamas.
Yep.
Together.
Yes, we are.
Gonna bring you some content.
Yes, we're in our pajamas together because we're on tour. It's not, we don't live together. That's not like, that's just to clarify.
That wouldn't work.
No, we would.
I don't think
murder each
that
other.
would work. No, we're on the road. Podding on the road.
Podding on the road.
Yeah, because we gotta give what the Horios want.
Which is road pod.
Road pod.
I don't know what that means.
Men always want road pod.
Oh man.
So much.
Always want road pod.
So let's talk. We have a very specific topic today.
And we're just going to leap into it, I guess.
I think so. I mean, do you have anything else you want to talk about?
How we had too much pie last night. But
We had so much pie last night. I'm sorry. That was my fault.
It was kind of great. And then I was like, oh no, this is too much pie. The slices of pie were huge. Yeah. I don't know.
The thing, so we had an early show yesterday. So at night we got to have like a little date night.
Yeah, it was great.
We're not together.
No,
some people think
it was like a friend date.
Yeah, a friend date, a band bonding
date.
night.
Right.
So we went to dinner and then I found a pie place nearby. So it was like
great.
two
But
stops.
Holy shit. Too much pie.
Too much pie.
That's what's forefront of my mind this morning. The insane quantity of pie that we consumed last night.
That was so good.
That
was a fun date.
It was a fun date. I could have had about half as much pie.
And then we had fried chicken beforehand.
That was really great.
So good.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know why I felt the need to like discuss the pie, but
That's good.
you know,
Yeah.
just really.
Now I want the rest of the pie that we have in the
You
refrigerator.
can have it. I don't think I can look at pie ever again.
Oh, no.
So much pie.
For breakfast, I actually thought maybe I'd have some pie, but
That
I'm
would be
not.
great.
I'm not.
Go
I'm not.
for it.
I'm saving
Do it.
myself for some other stuff.
Yeah,
Today,
absolutely.
anyway, I'm hungry. Okay. Yes. Let's get into it.
Well, this is a great segue. We are clearly great catches.
So-
today we're talking about
Yeah.
Online
dating. God.
help me.
I really do think it's gonna like cause it's gonna
death
be
of us. Well, it's funny because like we have a lot of like married friends and coupled friends that will ask like, oh my God, well, like, what is it like? Is it like so much fun? Like what do you do? And I think that people have like
this romantic idea of what it.
absolutely.
I don't blame them. I mean, in theory, what fun.
I mean, I've had fun online dating before. When I first kind of started, I was like, this is great. No pressure, just hanging out.
Yeah.
Like I'll send a million messages.
Right.
And then you
were
go
a huge advocate for it.
For sure. And I met somebody on
Right.
it and it was great for a while.
Right.
And then we broke up. But like, I think that if you're not looking for anything serious, and I'm not even talking about hooking up, I'm just saying like, if you're just sort of like willing to go and meet a bunch of strangers,
Right.
then it can be fine. But then you hit a wall when you're like, oh, so many strangers are very boring. And I don't want to spend my time with these boring
My time
people.
is too precious. I don't have time for it. I was quite invested over the years and, it was a waste of fucking time for me. personally. I know there's plenty. I have friends who've married their people that they've met on OkCupid, or they're dating people that they met on Tinder. I know some of my guy friends grinder it up all the time.
Oh yeah, sure.
It's so fun.
When I think that like, I think about this a lot where I'm like, well, here's where I try to look at it. Like, I think dating is historically hard. I was actually looking up I don't know why I fell into this wormhole, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time here, but, was looking at like the history of online dating.
Oh, what's the history? Did it start on the Mayflower?
Kind of. The first, I swear to God.
All right.
The first, like singles kind of write up in a newspaper is documented in like 1682 or something.
Ooh.
And someone said like, hey, this might be a good way to meet people. And then they like started kind of getting that going. And then like
out west? When they were,
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I think this was like in like, it was the 1600s. So it would have been the East Coast. But, like around the 1800s, they started having like, it was called like Matrimonial Weekly or something. Ooh. And it was like a dating newspaper, and men would have to pay 40 cents each, which was like $2 or something, or $3 back then.
$75 million now.
Or for me it was 4 cents. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, the point is the men had to pay something to put in their bios, but the women, it was free. So whatever that thing is, it's still a thing.
Right.
I don't know what that is about.
Well, I know when they settled the West, like the men would be like, oh, we need a wife to come settle the land, to have the children. So they would put ads in the newspapers too for seeking wife.
Well, they were trying to draw women out.
Yeah. Because they did not go at first.
Right.
I'd be all up in that, riding my Broncos and settling, tooling the land. What is it? Tiddling the land. Is that what it's called? Diddling. I get my hoe out and diddle the land. Yeah,
absolutely.
There you go. I'm looking for a man out west.
I guess that would be, I don't know.
Farmersmeat.com.
Farmersmeat.com.
I'm not against it.
No, not at all. I mean,
that'd
that's
be
cool.
Christian mingle. No thanks. I'm good.
Yeah.
Would you do Christian mingle?
I mean,
I'm not against any religion. I don't want a man who's super personally, I'm not looking for somebody I have to go to church with every Sunday because I got my spinning class.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it just depends. As long as they're not pushing any of their agendas on me, no matter what they are.
Good.
You know what I mean? Just period.
Yep.
So I don't know. There's this show that my mother is obsessed with. My mother lives in France. It's a show called L'amour dans le prix, which I think translates to like love in the country. And they have like a person.
It's a reality
show. And they have like a person. She may have made you watch this or try to make you watch this. And it's like it's like The Bachelor, but like way sweeter. And it's like they have a farmer. Sometimes it's a man, sometimes it's a woman. And then they have like a couple people that come from the city to like meet them and see if they can spark some love. And they like live in the house with them, and then like make the city people do country things.
I love that.
It's really fun. And they're really normal people. Like they're not like weird, and they don't overproduce it. They kind of like let them actually see.
It's like The Bachelor, but it's a smaller group of women, and it's on a farm.
And it's not even just, it's like sometimes the woman is the farmer.
Oh.
So sometimes it's men that come.
Perfect.
Right.
Of course.
So, but also like sometimes full blown, the person will just be like the farmer will be like, I don't like them. And we'll just like send them home, and then they're like, well, that's the episode.
Well, I think that's my biggest problem with online dating is that there's the law of attraction. There's like, at first sight, I can literally be like, nope, next.
That's
you walk into a bar and you're like, oh man, he does not look like his picture. Or, ooh, that's hot. Or,
right.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's
very quick though.
It's frequent that like you'll know pretty fast.
Pretty quick. And then you got to still sit there because
I know.
I have girlfriends who will have one drink or maybe not even have a drink and just say like, I'm sorry, I'm not interested, and then get up and leave.
Yeah.
But
well, my
I'll sit
problem
there.
is I can have a good time almost anywhere doing almost anything. So I always I'll immediately be like, this is not a match for me, but I can still be like friendly and get to know a person. And then they think this is the best date I've been on in years.
Right.
And I'll be like, oh shit.
Right.
I'd be like, oh no.
You
So
let
then I
him
have
on.
to like, yeah. And I didn't mean to lead him on. I just was like being a normal person, or what
Right.
I consider a normal person. But apparently there's a lot of not normal people, or like whatever, or people just don't know how to talk to people or something.
Right.
So
Yeah, I do feel like because of what we do, we're very personable. We can ask a lot of questions. Our lives are a little non-traditional. So maybe
Right.
that's interesting to someone who is a finance dude.
Yeah.
I've had those dates and they're like, what? They cannot understand what I do for a living, but they find, they're interested. But then I'm really good at asking questions. And I find myself on online dates just constantly asking questions. And then the man talks the whole time and then he thinks that I'm the one.
Right.
But
'cause he's
you
wow,
don't know a single thing about me.
Well, I went on that date where, because this is
Right. We
maybe
talk
my
about this a lot.
my biggest complaint with online dating, and you see it in like the chats too, but like where men just do not ask you a question.
Right.
And I think it happens. I've heard that some women do it too sometimes, but it's a personality thing or something. But I went on a date where the guy, we talk about the chemistry immediately was actually not bad. I was like, he's cute, like whatever. And then very quickly I realized he was not contributing to the conversation in terms of like asking me anything. Right. So like I'm asking him stuff and he's talking. And, he told me all about how he used to work at, Hard Rock Cafe like 3 years ago. I know all about his time at Hard Rock Cafe.
Nice.
But he didn't even know I was in a band.
He never asked.
He didn't ask. And because I realized what was happening and I was like, oh, I'm not going to give him anything. I'm going to like make it so that, I'm just curious.
Yep.
It was like an experiment. I was like, let me just see.
Yeah.
And the entire night. And then at the end of the night,
How many drinks did you have?
he had like a lot. Oh, that was the other thing. He had like 12 and I had like 3 or
12?
He just kept going. I was like, holy crap, this guy's.
So you let it last a while.
Well, because I
though.
was like, let's see. I'm really wanted to see if he was going to ask me anything. No, he didn't ask me a single question. And at the end of the night, he was wasted, but he's also like, he was like, I really, really like you. And I was like, you don't know me at all. You don't know anything about me.
So did you tell him right then that you don't know anything about me, or you waited till he
I was
texted
just
you
like,
the next day?
Well, no. So then I was like, great. Well, like if you hit me up if you want to, whatever, thinking like I'm not going to go with this.
Right.
And then he never wrote me back.
Ah.
But that's so weird too, to be like, I really like you. And of course then I'm like, you just want to sleep with me or something. But, you did not earn that.
Right.
'Cause you did not ask me a single question.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
so
I
crazy.
definitely don't.
And then I ran into that guy. He works at a restaurant really close to where I just moved. And I ran into him. It was the most uncomfortable run-in. He was bartending and we were sitting right at the bar and he was really nice about like, he was sweet and stuff, but I would realize like what a disaster that guy was. So I felt really bad. I think he like kind of did want to go on another date, but I was like, he never followed through. It was really weird. Anyway, don't go there anymore. I do not go there anymore.
Well, we ran into that one guy I dated a couple years ago.
I did not fart. That's the chair.
That's the chair. Katie's tooting.
Just in case.
Toot, toot.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, I was just saying about that one guy we ran into on the subway platform, and me and you were together, and I was like, oh my God, it's that guy. Cause I had gone on 7 dates with the person. We had started sleeping together, and then he disappeared.
He ghosted.
He died.
He like legit just stopped writing back, right?
Yeah. I mean, there was like
Is there any closure?
there was no closure, none. I texted, hey, we have a show close to your apartment later tonight. And he wrote back, okay, cool. I have plans, but maybe we can meet up later. I said, cool, hit me up.
And then he never wrote back.
And then I never heard from him. And then I was like, okay, let me test. Cause I feel like I hate the tests. I hate the like seeing like,
Right.
you know, the games, all that bullshit. But I did have this feeling of like, oh, I think he's gone. So then I didn't text and then I never heard from him. So, cause I also I'm not going to chase a man. I'm sorry. I'm just not.
I've done a lot of chasing.
Yeah, I mean,
like
I have
done with
too, but that's why I'm not doing it anymore.
I'm over it.
But that guy, this was the first time, and we can talk about it just briefly because it was a good lesson for myself. But on the third date, I slept with him. I waited to the third date, and it was late at night, and we slept together. And then remember, he asked me to leave because he had an early morning flight.
Oh, yikes.
And I've never had that happen before. I'm not the biggest cuddler, but don't fucking ask me to leave. I'm sleeping after
Especially if it's late at night.
yeah. I thought that was so rude. And so,
Unless you chose to leave, maybe. I don't know how that works.
I mean, I've done that too. I mean, if I have to be up early and I don't want to, I mean, there's all different circumstances, but with this particular
it didn't
one,
feel good.
no. And I thought that like we had, it was going to be a night sort of thing. So then but he texted me the next day, like, last night was so fun, whatever. And so I wrote him saying, I've never been asked to leave before. That has never happened. And that I can't, this isn't going to work out. I thought you were somebody else. And then he called me on the telephone.
Yeah, he really
stepped it up. And we had a big conversation about it. And there was a misunderstanding. He thought I understood he had to get up early for a flight and that he didn't assume that I was spending the night. I was just never assume. So then I was like, okay, all right, this man is a man. Then he cooked me dinner to make it up for it. And then 3 days later, poof, gone. So
yeah.
I don't know. I'm confused.
It is confusing.
And also, I don't care anymore. That was 2 years ago.
Yeah. No, I mean, not that you,
that
No,
go.
it's more just we're talking about online dating right now. So,
But it's just like a mess. It's a mess.
I think the first online date you went on, we were on tour.
Oh, yeah.
And I came on the date.
Yes, I forgot about that.
I was like the third wheel on your date.
I was
He
so
very
nervous.
nice.
He was lovely.
bought
He's
me dinner,
married,
too,
and
I
I
think.
believe his wife is pregnant.
That's great.
We're still friends on Facebook. Yeah, my
great.
first date. That's right.
He was very sweet.
We chatted it up. Tinder. Yes, on Tinder when we were on tour. And then, I guess, did I save him a ticket or did he buy a ticket to our show? Maybe he just bought it. Maybe that's how I get a full audience.
Well, that was,
I just
remember that
Tinder
was
it
our
up.
original plan was we were just going to like
Tinder
go
the-
all over Tinder and be, hey, meet me in my show. And
Meet
then
me
just,
in my
like,
show.
Have a audience full of men. That
Yeah.
have like been like, although that happened to that. Remember that girl did that. There was like that. I don't know if this is just a New York thing, but there was that woman who
that
like,
she got all of
did
her-
a million like messages to like boys on Tinder. And then all these guys showed up in Union Square and it was like, going to be a contest for who was going to like win. But it turned out to be a whole publicity stunt and she was just a pawn in it too. Like, so, cause then people got mad at her and she was like, it wasn't me. I'm just an actress. They like hired me to do it. So this like company had like, it was awful. It was really awful. And it made the men feel really shitty. And like, I get it. I mean, that's terrible.
Right. If you expect to be going on a date and then you show
Right.
up and it's a fucking contest. Yeah. I'd be a little bit like,
It was really screwed up.
honey.
Yeah. And it just goes to show how like how disposable people think of other people's feings.
Right.
People
Well,
feel
I think
very
the online
disposable. in this
dating
online
makes
dating.
it.
Yeah.
Everyone's disposable. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
But we cared about that, about Clifford. Can we say his name?
He
was
might
lovely.
be listening. He was very nice.
He was so nice. And he paid for both of our meals.
Which was like, I was like, score. I should be a third wheel on all these dates.
And he was so nice. And, I actually said, you can kiss me.
Oh, and then I was like, I'll look away. And I just
And you did. And
looked away.
then we flew out the next day and I was like, done. I've done my dude.
Yeah, you did it. I
I
did the first online date.
Yeah, I pulled the Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
And it's been downhill ever since. No,
Yeah, well.
it has been. I don't online date anymore. I've deleted all the apps. I even tried for just the podcast sake today to reinstall them and see if I could find some past correspondences with people because there were some really funny fucking things.
Yeah.
But no, I can't. It's all been deleted, which actually is a good, I'm glad to know that.
Right.
That all the data has been deleted.
I mean, I don't know if the data is deleted, but that stuff is gone. I mean, it's probably in their.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I want to say in their anals.
All those dick, all the
their
dick
anals.
pics are up in the sky now.
Yep.
Do you have a good pickup line? Like, do you have like this? I guess I was reading. I haven't seen this episode, but Aziz Ansari on his show Master of None.
Yeah, I never really watched that.
Yeah, I never did too, but I was looking for hot pickup lines. But I guess on the show, every time he Tindered or whatever, he would open it by saying, "Going to Whole Foods. Want me to pick you up anything?"
Oh.
And people were like, that's so great. I'm like,
It's actually not a bad pickup line.
it's nice.
Here's my advice if anyone's trying to figure, because like the thing that never works for me, you know, people always complain, like, don't just say hey. You know, and I agree.
Oh,
like,
I hate that.
Hey is
No.
annoying. You
Hey,
gotta try to
get the
come up with
fuck out of
something.
here. You gotta make me laugh.
Yeah, or even if that's not your strength, just try to like look like you've looked at their profile.
Right.
For God's
Pick
sake.
something.
Right.
Okay.
And I'm a little bit of a weirdo, and I want to make sure people know that what they're getting into if they do want to go on a date with me. So I will like do silly things to start off the conversation. And sometimes people just do not respond at all. Even if we'll match and then I'll say something silly and then they're like, "Ugh." And I'm like, great, good to know. No problem. Moving on to the next. And like there was one
What do
guy
you
once.
say?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
God,
I say
I'm
really,
scared.
I just look for like cues and clues in the pictures or whatever. So I remember like one guy, he was like on a plane and I was like, where are you going? Like on that plane or where'd that plane go or something stupid. And he did not write me back. So that was like fine. But one time there was a guy, very handsome gentleman who was standing in front of like, it was the weirdest thing. It was like a collection of like stuffed owls.
Ooh.
And so then I wrote, nice Hooters. And he wrote back and he didn't get the joke.
Oh,
He
what?
was
What did he
from
say?
Israel. He was like, thank
okay.
you. I love owls. And I was like, okay. We went on a date, but I was like, this is not working.
If you can't get an owl joke, I don't know if he's your.
But that's like what I do. So I actually do that on purpose to see if they can like
Keep
play.
up.
Yeah, keep up. And the person that I ended up dating, we had this great banter. And that was like one of the things that like was like, okay, great. You know,
Right.
That's a good, then now I want to go on a date and see how that goes.
right.
But it doesn't always happen.
It doesn't happen.
No. Also sometimes on those things too, where you're like, so where do you work and what do you do? And they're like, I work here. And then I go, okay. Now,
All right.
do I ask another question? Like what?
That's good.
You got it. What about me?
My favorite response is when I say I'm in comedy and they go, oh, I've always wanted to try that. I think I'd be really good at it. I should try that.
Like, well,
It seems kind of easy. Oh, really? Okay. You try it. You do it. Finance dude.
Yeah. I don't get that so much. I got a lot of people, I think guys get intimidated sometimes when I'm like, I'm in a musical comedy band and I play music and I'm, you know, they're like, oh shit, wow.
So
I'm like, yeah, that's what I do.
yeah. I had one online date and he had looked us up and then he said that our songs reminded him of I want to lick you from the head to the toes. I want to to the bed, down to the floor. You know that song? Mm-hmm. And he sang it to me in the first 5 minutes of meeting of that. Our stuff reminded him of that song. And I was like,
Yeah, then you're missing the point.
interesting choice. But that was a date that, we had one drink and he said, I'm going to get another. And I said, I'm good. And he's like, do you want to continue the
you were
date?
just
And
saying
I
no.
said, no, actually, I'm going to run and meet another friend.
That's good. I mean, I think in some ways, like that's one thing that's kind of nice about online dating is that in theory, like we all kind of know what we're there for in terms of like trying to see if you're a match or not.
Right.
I mean, if we're getting along or not.
Right.
And if you're not, I think it's just like easier to be like, oh, no, we're not. That's one thing I think when you like meet people's friends, then you're like, oh shit, I don't like them. And then you have to like, how do you-
God, that's awful.
Cause I looked up also, I was just curious, like what's up with online dating? And they were like, online dating is the second most common way people meet their partners. But the first is through friends. Which makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah. Huh. I mean, yeah. Years ago, it was like I'd never been on a blind date, or in high school. just last year.
Last year in high school.
Last year in high school. Yeah, I went on one blind date in high school because a friend of mine set me up with him, and it was like such a big deal to go on a blind date. And then that is what online dating
it's all
is.
blind
It's just
dating.
all blind dates. You
Flying blind constantly.
just flying fucking blind.
I mean, I do find it kind of fun sometimes if I'm in the right mood or whatever. Just
Yeah.
like I'm going to meet this person. I try to also just take all the, no expectations down.
Right.
It's just
Right.
like almost a way to practice talking to strangers. It's an acceptable way to talk to strangers. Like, so what do you do? What do you like? What do you like to do? Where are you
Just,
from?
it's like
What's your favorite
practicing for
color?
a job interview. Just good at
or
questions.
more just
or-
like I don't know. I'm curious about people, so I
Yeah.
like to like I don't mind sitting
Right.
with people. The only time is if they're like dicks or something, and then I'm like, get me the hell out of here.
There's so many other things I'd rather do than go sit with a stranger and ask them questions or answer questions. I know that's why
Yeah.
I
mean, sometimes that's true. Sometimes I don't have anything better to do.
Wow.
That's my problem.
I mean,
Sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm bored.
got into Outlander. It's like, I can't think about
maybe I should
anything
watch
else right now.
Outlander, yeah. Maybe that's why.
Well, my pickup line, I was trying to think back of like what I would say. During the winter, I used, got a sled a lot because I was just looking for a man to meet me in the park with a sled. And one time it accidentally autocorrected to got a shed. And that was a weird conversation.
He's like, why do you need a
Why?
shed?
Do you have an axe? Do you have,
I was like, excuse me. I'm in desperate need of a shed. Do you have one by chance?
and then my favorite was, I got a cooler if you got a boat.
Do you have a cooler?
I do. I have 3 coolers. People fucking always bring coolers to my house and then leave them. So I have like stacks of coolers.
Oh.
Actually, if Julia Johns is listening right now,
Pick up your cooler, bitch.
I've had it for 3 years.
Oh my God. She probably doesn't even know she has a
No,
cooler.
every time we go to the beach, she's like, I'm surprised you didn't bring a cooler of mine.
yeah.
Cause it's a grill. It's like a
it's a
purse.
small-
I use it as a purse.
Yeah. Just like keep all your wallets warm.
Yeah.
Is that how a cooler works? I don't know.
But I did have one online date. So my dream man, has a boat. Like that's just like, I really want a man with a boat.
I don't like the idea of going on a first date on a boat though, because he can just drive you out into the ocean and then murder you.
Oh yeah. No. I would
So you'd be
never.
like, do you have a boat? And they'll be like, yeah, you want to ride it? And be like, no.
No, just
No,
curious.
just wondering.
Just asking questions. But I did have a date. Actually my last online date, the guy said, we were on our second date. That was our last date. But he said that he, had his captain's license. And I was like, oh my God, have I found him? Like, is this my person? And then, when I asked him questions of like, where did he get his license? Like, where does he like to sail? And, he said he just got it online.
He's like, I've never actually been on a boat.
Yeah. Yep. I was like, oh my God, this is the worst. He was the one too that, he took me to Kings of Leon and he was like touching me a lot. And I was like, I don't know this person at all. And his hands are all over my body. And then it started raining and then I kind of fell into like, oh, this is romantic. And then, we got in a cab. I said I wanted to go home at that point. It was getting late. And he said that he would make sure to get me home, which I was like, oh, that's nice. So we got in the same cab and we stopped at my place. And on the way to my house, his hands were again all over me. And then, he said, do you like what I'm doing? And I said, you should read my body language.
And he was
And
like,
he-
yay.
No, he immediately
Go,
pulled,
go,
he
yeah.
like, it just like dawned on him that
Right.
I was not
Feeling it, yeah.
feeling it as well.
Right.
Yeah. Made me
a
feel
whole
weird.
thing, too. Yeah.
Anyway, I don't like online dating. That was my last one.
Yeah.
It was a while ago.
I haven't been on one. The last couple I've been on have just been exceedingly boring.
You said,
Just like mind-numbingly boring.
I watched you have a conversation recently with somebody at a club too. And then you turned to me and goes, and that is what online dating feels like. Cause I watched this person just talk about themselves the whole time and not ask
crazy.
you a single question.
It's incredible. It's really, I don't know what it is about me that people have no interest in knowing anything about me. They look at me. They're like, I don't really need to know about it. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Yeah.
It's weird. The way to my heart is to ask me a question. Just one.
That's so nice. Mine is pie.
Yeah.
And a boat.
And a boat.
Very simple. I'm a simple gal. You're more of you're the intellectual.
Yeah.
I'm just the
God
fucking
forbid. All I need is a goddamn question. I'm such an intellectual over here. Just ask me my favorite color. Just ask
Just
me
a
my
question.
Just one
question.
Jeez,
Not anything too intellectual.
It could be anything.
Right. Any
ask
question.
Me anything.
Okay, yes.
It's not too perverted.
That's true.
Ask me like a regular old question. What's your shoe size? Okay. That's
Right into
not
difficult
bad. There
women
you go.
podcast at Gmail. Ask Katy a question.
For God's sake. That's why I always want mail. Like nobody asks me anything. I am invisible. What is happening?
I have a question.
Oh, good.
This
Yes,
is-
please ask me a question. I'm into it.
What do you do when you see your friend's boyfriend online?
Oh, wait. I feel like this happened to me. Oh, it depends on the person and how close I am with them. But I think mostly you got to tell him.
Yeah. Your friend.
You just got to tell him.
Because that happens a lot, I see.
But it happens a lot. And I think that part of what happens, and this is a legitimate thing, is that like, there was something happening where you could like take the app off your phone.
But your
thing is still going.
Right.
So like, it's just, that's why you just don't know, but it's worth like finding out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Cause it's just, that can be bad.
Yeah. Because definitely through the years, I keep seeing like my friends' boyfriends online, and I'm like, oh,
yeah,
what's happening?
Yeah.
Also, can you explain the tigers to me?
Oh, so many tigers.
So what are they? What's happening?
What do you mean, just boys posing with tigers?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's a thing, and I honestly have no idea.
I think it's like people's way of showing that they're interesting. So it's like they have these, you know.
But it started with like one white guy probably with a tiger.
Well, I think the idea is it's like, look how adventurous I am. I went somewhere and I met a tiger. I wouldn't mind posing with like Tony the tiger or something. That would be like
the mascot.
I would do. Yeah.
That actually would be a great.
Yeah, I'd be like, hey, it's just a whole series of those. The one I can't stand the ones where like the guy's never smiling. They're all selfies.
Right.
And he's serious in every one of them. You're like, I'm not interested in this.
Right.
First of all, it looks like you have no friends. And second of all, you are not smiling at all.
Right.
You look like you're going to murder somebody. Don't do that.
Well, I hate the pictures with like other girls in it, or like they're obviously like, that's obviously an ex-girlfriend, or maybe your wife right now. Like,
or
I
your
have no
sister,
idea,
but I don't know because I don't know you. So don't.
I really get excited about the pictures of like, this isn't my kid, but my nephew. And then, I love him. I'm like, oh, that's great. He's a family man.
Yeah.
I like a family man.
I mean, that also feels a little bit like a lady trap.
Oh no, I've been duped.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I think that like that's
I'm
like
that
a common
typical.
Yeah, that's a common. I mean, it's
basic
fine.
bitch. I'm
if
a basic
you have
bitch.
a nephew that you like and you want to post a picture of him, that's totally fine. But I also know that you are doing this on purpose
To get them
like
ovaries.
how many? Yeah, clearly.
Yeah. Well, I
It's a
fall
little bit
for
of a
it
trap.
every time.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh my God, a baby. They have a baby. They have a nephew baby.
yeah.
Yeah. That's me. Which sites do you prefer?
I like. Oh, so that was the one thing too I was thinking
Yeah.
about was how like, I guess it's like Match or one of those. The ones where like you
Pay for?
No. But the ones where like anybody can message you at any time.
Oh, yeah.
Are the worst. I'm realizing how bad. Because
So
there was
wait,
one.
so-
I signed up for Match at one point.
Okay.
And like, I guess I had to pay for it. I think that's how that worked. But like, I signed up on it. And within 20 minutes, I had like 400 messages.
Oh,
And
just
I was
from
just
anybody that could.
Anybody that wanted to could send me a message. And it was like, not only could I not filter through them, but number two, it was like junk mail. You know, I mean, there's just so many people that you're like, we don't have anything in common even, let alone like, you know, why are you, it was too much. So I have a newfound respect for like Bumble and stuff where the women kind of have to reach out and there has to be a match. And I like Hinge too, because like, I don't know how the matching part works.
It's through Facebook friends.
Yeah, but I think that like you can't just send a message until you both have a match.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean? So because otherwise you just get too many messages.
Right.
And also I feel like, you know, I have a guy friend on online dating and he's like, oh, I just swipe right on everybody. And he's like, and then later if we match, I'll decide if I like them or not.
Oh man.
And then boys don't read the stuff, you know, girls are actually like filtering through them.
Oh yeah. I'm like, is he smiling? Does he have a job?
Right.
Where's the boat?
But the reason why the boys swipe right on everybody is because it's harder for them to find a match.
Right.
Because girls are more picky about it. Because we're really looking for something to do something. But I was going to say earlier that like the thing about online dating, because I was talking about the history of online dating and all that, is that like dating has always been a thing where it's like a little bit of a needle in a haystack, no matter what. So my philosophy with online dating is that you have just increased your numbers.
Right.
So your chances of actually meeting people are probably better. It's just that you have to go through more people so that people get really depressed about it. And it's like really upsetting.
I think we should have an app where it's more of like, before you meet in person, you have to Skype or like do an online video chat.
Oh, I would hate that.
I'd much rather be there. So then I could be like, 5-minute talk. Do we have any kind of chemistry?
I feel like you could not tell if you had chemistry through a computer.
Yeah, but you can tell if you're attracted to a person.
No, you can't.
Physically. A little. You can be a shallow person, You can get the.
But here's my other like huge fear around online dating is that like I will discount somebody that I think is like not attractive in that picture or whatever, for example, right? I don't know what our chemistry would be like. There's plenty of people that I've been attracted to in real life.
Right.
Who in pictures are not attractive.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That are not traditionally handsome people, but they maybe have an amazing personality.
Right.
Or we just like click, you know?
Right.
There's this one person that I like met. Remember that guy that I met like, this is years ago, but we were at this like event.
Oh, I
like,
remember him.
And we just had this insane chemistry.
And
And
he
like,
asked you out and you had a boyfriend.
yeah, and I had to say no. And he now is married.
Yeah, we've
We're
looked him up
friends
because I really did
we're
think that
friends
he
on
was.
Facebook. I thought one
that's
day I was
great.
like, we're gonna reconnect and like get married.
Yeah.
But no, but he also is not somebody that like
You would.
I would never have just like looked
Swiped.
at that guy and been like, oh, because he wasn't that hot.
That's why
But he
online
was-
dating sucks.
Well, because you do miss out.
Because you're
on-
shallow and you're like, no, I'm not attracted
just
to that
don't know
person.
what
And
you're missing.
Yeah, you don't know what you're missing.
Yeah.
But that's why a little video chat. Hello.
No, I feel like
Hi, Gary. Woo, what's that hump?
Well, that's why they
I
used to do
love a
that
hump
1980s video dating. You know, they do
Yeah.
like the VHS dating, and you actually see somebody in action.
I love that too.
Yeah.
Or maybe they should have more videos. I mean, I guess you can post videos on your.
Well, I
thing
remember
nowadays.
one of I think it was Coffee Meets Bagel was playing with this idea. of
Coffee
having
Meets
more-
Bagel is
yeah,
that thing?
that's the one.
Ooh,
That one is more
I
for
love
people that
bagels.
are serious.
oh, it
but-
sounds very serious. What
No,
is
but
that?
it
How does
is-
that work?
It's like I think you get a very limited number of people, so you had to be much more picky.
Why is it called Coffee Meets
'Cause
Bagel? Is it in New York?
Bad. I don't think it's just a New York thing. It's
Looking
just a bad
for
name.
some schmear.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a dumb name. It also kind of feels vaguely like sexual because you're like bagel. Is that like vagina? But then coffee is like someone just throwing their coffee through the bagel, the bagel.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea who named it. I don't like the way it's named. I don't really like the app that much, to be honest.
Yeah.
But they did try this thing. I will say one of the things I love about online dating is if I'm a little bit sad, nothing will make me laugh harder than some of these profiles that are so bad. There's so many bad profiles. And I remember once there being one. So Coffee Meets Bagel was trying to do video things. You could like do like a video where you introduce yourself on video, which is kind of what you're talking about.
Right.
Is like seeing somebody kind of in action. And oh my God, it made everybody look so bad. I mean, I was like, oh, you looked okay on this profile.
And then
you
it's all
seem
of a
like
sudden-
a psycho loser, like in real life. So they just stopped doing it because it was like, I think hurting people's chances of getting dates. Cause it just, people didn't know how to like, I mean, we are on camera all the
Oh,
time.
I think you showed me a video of a
They
guy just
were
like the
hilarious.
angle was
Yeah.
like from below and
Yep.
then it was like you could almost see
It was
his
like he was
testicles
laying
through his
down.
cocky pants or something.
Well, he was like
Khaki
laying
shorts.
down. I mean, the amount of effort that he put in.
Right.
Was like, girls
Right.
are like trying to get a good angle. They're doing this. And sometimes these guys
Get
it's
my
like,
light kit out.
Yeah. And then there's some people that it's like literally from below 5 million double chins. They're like, they didn't even wipe the pizza crumbs off their face before they took the picture. And you're like, and then they're complaining that they can't get a date. I'm like, come on,
Right.
dude, you're not even trying. But yeah, that was like one of the worst ideas I've ever seen where they were like, let's do this video. And like, nope, it did not work out.
I just want, you have to put the effort in, but there's something about if I could pause Outlander, give a phone call.
Maybe you
Is
could
this-
watch Outlander with them.
No, I would never invite a stranger over.
No, I went all through the internet.
Oh, through the internet.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That actually,
Well, that sort
that
of
could be a good fun online dating app. Like,
Well, I
would you
have
like
to
Outlander?
say-
Let's watch it together.
So the
like
thing that-
Mystery Science.
yeah, for sure. The
That'd be
thing,
hot.
so I looked up. I mean, you know, I don't know what you're bringing to the table, did, but I sort of was like, oh, well, what is another thing about online dating that's interesting, or like an angle, or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it started with like, what are the different weird sites? And there are ones. One of them is people that love to be in adult diapers.
Oh, that's
That's an online date. That's like a site where you like meet people.
Oh.
There's one for people.
diaperboys.com.
It's called like diaperlove.com or something.
that.
There was one that was for people that love cats.
Oh.
It's called like Perfect Match or something.
Oh.
There was ones for like gamers and ones for, you know, I mean, there's a lot of different, like, there's one for not metals, for metal people that like metal music. there's like ones for that. But I get it. I mean, you get it. So like,
it's good.
If you have a very specialized thing, so there could be one for Outlander.
Yeah.
If you're an Outlander fan.
Okay.
And, why not?
If you develop apps, if you're listening and you are work in Silicon Valley and want to create an Outlander app with me,
maybe that would just be your person. Yeah.
Difficult.
That's your boyfriend.
Podcast at gmail.com. Yeah. So what are you going to
so
share?
as I was going through those things, I discovered there's an app for people, and it's not specifically for dating per se, but it seems like that's how it's mostly used. It's like, meetaninmate.com.
Ooh.
And it's people that want to meet people that are in jail.
Oh, people on the outside want to meet somebody on the inside?
Yes. And you can like,
what's that
part
about?
of it, they try to market it more as like a pen pal service to like connect with people. And I think you can use it like that, just as like make friends and feel like you're helping like the people, to connect with the outside world. But a lot of women go into it and use it as like a dating site. And then they meet people and they start dating the inmates, right? And at first I was like, that's so crazy for a lot of reasons. But one of the things that they were saying, this is kind of a sad state of like where we're at in like dating, I think. But, because you can't have conjugal visits in most states, the relationship then has nothing to do with sex. And so women talk about how they've never felt so like loved before. And like listened to and like connected with a human, because like really the relationship is about everything but the physical stuff. And how next week I'll be like, I'm on inmates.com. But they were saying that all I want is someone to ask me a question.
Katie, your standards. We got to talk about your standards.
I'm just like, what I'm doing with what I'm working with, what I get. But so like they said the other thing that what ladies like and that the couples like is that they also like, you're limited on like things you can send to each other. There's like, you have to really put a lot of effort into like they charge a lot for phone calls and for internet time. The prison system is a bank. They just make money off of inmates.
Yeah,
so they
for
make
profit.
money. It's a
I
for-profit
don't
system,
understand.
which we can totally talk about another time.
Episode 10. We'll get there.
Yeah, thank God. Anyway, that just made me angry. But anyway, but they were saying that like, because, you have to really be invested in this relationship, and also this is sort of a ridiculous thing, but a lot of the women talk about how like, the men on this other side, they don't have a lot going on in their life. So their whole life then becomes the woman, which is kind of intense. That kind of freaks me out. But also the lengths to which these couples have to go to show their love for each other because they can't do it physically.
Right.
So people write each other's poems and people, make each other things and like they card and like it was really like the level of romance that can come out of that is really magical. I don't know.
Aww.
So because I kind of went into it going like, oh, this is ridiculous. But I think I get the impulse. I mean, I would need to have some physical relations with my person. But, but I get the like appeal, I think, especially in this world that we live in where people do feel so, you can feel so disposable. Right. In our world right now. Right. To like be in a situation where you like have someone's undivided attention for whatever amount of time.
When you first brought it up, I was like, that's crazy. But now I actually kind of see what you mean.
So how do we get
you can
those
remove
elements?
Take their penises off. And then we'll be okay.
The penis on.
I
just feel that like what would be the setup where without having it doesn't have to be in jail, but like how do you have moments with somebody where you're like, hey, like let's just eliminate. Like assuming you're not just on here to hook up, which a lot of people are. Can I also say one more thing about that is that, I do appreciate the people that are very transparent about why they're online. If they're just there to hook up. Yeah. Please tell people from the beginning. Because
I do really appreciate like just looking for something casual.
Please tell me, because like otherwise if it's shady, then like there's lots of people that just want to hook up. So lots of men, lots of women, just be honest about it. Cause then it's just like, then you feel like, well, what am I doing? We're wasting everybody's time. Cause
Right.
anyway. But yeah, if there was, people that like ways to kind of like connect, or at least try to connect in a real way. And not
That's a really great story. I was going to talk about murder.
Well, that too. I was thinking, I actually looked up those stories too, but then I was like, oh, what about that?
Yeah. Well, let's keep murder on the back burner because you know how much I love murder.
She loves to murder.
I love to murder.
Don't have yourself, Marie.
Kill at comedy clubs.
Right.
That's all we do. Well, I would like to talk about this is chivalry dead concept.
Yeah.
So what has been happening a lot lately online dating is that after a date, the man will pay and then the woman will get a Venmo request for half of it. Cause this was years ago, maybe last year or something, I read about a date. This woman had a date with somebody. I can't remember where I read it, but, they went on a date. They went out to dinner. It was kind of an expensive dinner. The man paid. He asked her out the next day for another date. And she said, I actually, you're a lovely person, but not for me. And then, in the next 15 minutes, she got a Venmo request for half of the expensive dinner. And she was like, what the, and paid it.
I mean, it's not romantic, but I'm also kind of not that mad about it.
I'm not that mad about it either.
It's like,
to be honest, I'd be like, I'll pick up the check and then I'll send you a Venmo request. I do that to my girlfriends.
Well, sure.
I got this.
Well,
I got this.
What I really like to do on a date though is like, I just insist on going Dutch. Because I want to prove that I'm not here for the free meal. Cause I'm really not.
Right.
Some people are, and that's gotta work. They do what they do. You
do you.
But you might get a Venmo request.
Right.
But I just think that I like to just take that out of the equation.
Right.
And I guess like is that chivalry paying? I mean, I guess it is chivalry to pay.
Yes.
But there's also this thing, I've read this thing years ago and it stayed with me so much. I talk about it all the time. But like one of the most equal countries in the world is Sweden.
Sweden, yes.
And how Sweden is like they have like they're better with equal pay and like they have
maternity paternity leave.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And so there's a lot of like equality happening there, which is really exciting. But one of the downsides the women were saying is that like chivalry is now dead.
Right.
Because men are raised to believe women are human equals.
Right.
Which is like great.
Right.
But then they don't hold the door open and they don't they don't go out of their way to do anything nicer, which I totally get.
Right.
Like
we're fighting for equality and then
and then
wait a minute, you're not gonna
about it. Right.
hold my door.
So I totally get it. But it did like kind of make me go, oh yeah, that's too bad. But I think we can hold doors open for each other.
I hold
romantic.
doors open for men all the time.
Yeah. And I'm happy to like pay the bill sometimes. And as long as it's reciprocated, like, and you do it as a nice gesture, to be like, I care about you and I want to like, I'm going to treat you tonight. And like, just to be like nice. I think that's how I think that I would change. So chivalry can die as far as I'm concerned, but what needs to come back is like mutual respect. You know what I mean? Like,
bravo.
Yeah. Like romance, it doesn't have to die.
Right.
With chivalry.
Right.
But also like, I'm a little bit on the girls that are like, you got to pay for my dinner. I'm like, why? Really? Why?
I am a hardcore feminist. But I'm definitely impressed when a man picks up the check. They don't have to.
Right.
And I always offer and like, that's what I'm doing. When I go on, my friend Luisa Diaz taught me this trick and it's brilliant. When you go on an online date, you arrive first. Try to get there early and get your drink.
Right.
Pay for it yourself.
Right.
Sit down, have your drink. Then the man comes. Hello, welcome. He sees you already have your drink. So then he has to go get his and pay for it.
Right.
So then you're sitting there paying for your own drinks.
Right.
And then after that, when it's time, hey, do you want another one? That's when you can say, you know what? I'm good. And then you both leave. And that's,
nobody
I think,
owes anybody.
Nobody owes anybody anything. But, so I think that's the perfect scenario, I think if it goes further, then, then they buy the next two and then you buy the next two. That's what I love. I like that stuff. But, I had an online date, a couple years ago that the man like bought the whole dinner and it was kind of expensive. And I was like, oh my God, thank God I don't have any money, but
as long
thank you.
as they don't expect anything.
Right.
I think that I start to feel weird about that if I know that I'm not interested.
Right.
That's when I'm like, ooh, good. I don't think it's fair that this guy's going to pick up this $300 bill or something. Not that I would ever spend $300.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, girl, get it.
I was like, when I was going to pick up my lobster meal. But like, that would make me very uncomfortable.
Yes,
I'd be
that would make me very
no,
uncomfortable.
That's so shitty that like, I don't want to make him. But then that's maybe a bad sign. If you're on a date with me and we get to the end and they're like, please let me pay for this. And I'm like, no.
Right.
That means I probably don't like you very much.
Yeah.
Because if I say, okay, sure, that means that I'm planning on taking you out in the future.
But I have a friend who like gets really angry if the guy doesn't pay.
But
and
I'm
like,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, if you're listening, it's not too crazy, but
I mean, no, it's nice to pay, whatever. But like, I think
I think you just gotta, again, Luisa's idea of showing up early, getting your own drink, and then it sets the bar of like, nobody owes anybody anything at this point. Right. And then if it's going well, great, then you can figure that out. But
also, I do think it's
money is a weird thing. People freak out.
Yeah, for sure.
Money can be
I also think that like a
topic.
drink is not so bad in terms of someone buying you your drink, but dinner I think can get really spendy. If someone Venmoed me for $6, I'd be like, go fuck yourself.
Well, funny you bring that up because according to NewYorkPost.com, Tammy, a 21-year-old beauty blogger from Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, she went on a date and then was Venmoed just a couple hours after the date to pay for $3 well drink.
That's so crazy. I mean, I get it. Just don't even offer. I don't know.
Yep.
That's sort of silly to me.
Keisha Pace, 31 of the Bronx, Venmo requested by a former fling for a $50 meal.
That to me makes a little more sense.
Yeah.
But still, it's kind of tacky. It's definitely tacky. Venmoing someone for like a request for a date situation feels petty and tacky.
Yeah.
I think that like, I get it, but maybe instead of doing that, just to go Dutch. Yeah. If you really don't want to pay for a meal. I don't know.
It's definitely a big debate. It's still, who's supposed to pay? If you're in the South, I'm sure some Southern boys would not, not to generalize Southern good old boys, but I do know a couple of them that like the idea of a woman paying, their brains explode. And it's like, okay, well, that's a big conversation.
Sure. I mean, look, if someone has like a way more money than me and they insist on paying for dinner,
do it.
After I've said like, oh no, it's fine. And they're like, no, really.
I'm a billionaire. I'm like, oh,
okay, fine.
All right. Is that what the helicopter was outside?
I don't owe you anything.
Right. Yeah.
You're not paying for my body.
You can buy me a lobster dinner and you still aren't going to get my puss.
My body does not equal one lobster dinner. Although it's close. Maybe 2. I don't know. Oh God. I do love lobster.
I do too.
I mean, I don't get it very often. It's
I like a lobster pot pie.
Yeah. Like crab too. We had a crab party at my house once. We bought 100 crabs, put them in the bathtub on ice.
You bought
live crabs in Chinatown, and then we boiled them all alive. And it was very stressful. It was very stressful. That's what if you want to date me, you're going to have to boil live.
My sister did a crawdad thing the other day, and I guess they missed one because she went to wash her hands in her sink days later, and there was live crawfish down there.
Was it
in the disposal, but just alive, just like hanging out. And she was like, well, I can't
that's sad.
Turn on the disposal.
Well, that's where you get a new pet. I would definitely get a terrarium for that guy.
Yeah. You survived, Bill. Yeah. So you get to have this.
Survive. That's Survivor for crawfish.
Yeah.
If it was going to be like a show. Like, who's going to make it?
Okay. Let's talk about murder.
Okay, great. I'm so glad.
Well, so here I do, my favorite podcast is My Favorite Murder.
It's a great podcast.
They talk a lot about murder. Yeah. When you look up murder and Tinder, there's obviously a lot of different stories.
God, it's so scary.
Absolutely terrifying. But one that was recent was a woman, I guess a couple years ago, but in Australia, a woman, it was, I believe, her second date with this man. Maybe I made that up, but she had gone back to his apartment and they, for some reason, had a really huge fight.
Oh, right.
And she got she got scared and went out to the balcony.
Yeah.
And he locked her out, or I don't know. He was yelling things at her, and she was so scared that she thought that she had to like flee.
Yeah.
And it was 14 floors up. And so she actually, when she tried to, maybe she was trying to jump from another balcony to another one. I don't know, but she was scared enough. She felt as though she had to jump and get out of that situation. She fell to her death.
Don't they also question maybe he pushed her?
Well, they have, the only like evidence or, thing that they had was that for some reason he had turned on his iPhone and taped, the argument or something. And so they actually have 3 hours of, audio recording from his phone, and on it said, he says, you're lucky I haven't chucked you off my balcony. You, it's bleeped out. Let's see. Goddamn psycho little bitch. I think that's what he said. So
did she die?
Yes, she died. So he was then arrested, and tried for murder and manslaughter, and was acquitted of all the charges.
That's crazy. Moral of the story: don't date an Australian.
No, I love an Australian. Ugh. But I mean, I don't know. Because I listen to so much murder podcasts, I'm more aware of these things. And where in my 20s, I would so many dumb mistakes of going back to strangers' places, and never, luckily, knock on wood, nothing will happen in the future. But, I've always had really safe, pretty good experiences going home with strangers. But now that my eyes have been open that 1 in 4 men are murderers. That's not that's not a real statistic. I don't know.
Statistic
1 in 4 men kill. No,
99% of men.
I made that up. That's not true. Do not.
Not true.
Not true at all. But I mean, I'm just more, I'm aware.
Yeah. No, I mean,
when do you go home with the stranger?
Well,
because I do
know.
like to have the sexual intercourse.
But even it. 3 dates in,
that's what happened with that person. I know.
You don't know.
Well, I mean, husbands kill their wives. That's a whole thing.
But yeah, I don't know.
How do you trust? How do you trust, Katie? How do you trust a man?
I think you.
Women's intuition.
I don't know. Actually,
I don't even know.
Don't know. We're all doomed.
But this one other murder case, it was like this young girl was duped by a couple.
Oh, I heard about.
It was like their second. She went on a second date. She had texted people and even Snapchatted going on a date. My second date, and then this couple chopped up her body.
Oh, great!
In tiny little pieces.
I don't know. That doesn't make me feel good.
So swipe.
I do try to tell swipe left on murders.
Yeah.
I try to let people know where I am. Like if I'm going on a date, I'm going on a date. We're going to be at this bar.
Okay, good.
Just to kind of just because that's a thing.
Because some people have said you should text your friends the name of this person, maybe a picture.
Yeah. That's probably not a bad idea.
One of the worst things, and definitely my biggest regret as a young idiot, I was 22 years old, and I had just graduated college, and I was home, trying to figure out my life. I had been home maybe, 2 months. It was the summer before an internship started. I had gone to Flaming Lips concert. Yeah. And I met a boy. My pickup line, get this. I leaned over, I saw this guy, and we kind of talked, and then I go, would you do me a favor? I haven't been kissed all summer. And then we kissed, and then we dated for a long time. But our first date, my point of my biggest regret to this day, first date with this guy, he was 10 years older than me. We went on a date, and he took me to a really nice restaurant. He obviously had a lot more money than I. He had a real job. He had a house, a car. I was just a college, I just graduated college. But that night, I went back to his place and spent the night. But I was living with my parents at the time, and I didn't tell them.
Oh, yeah. So they were like, she's dead.
So when I woke up, I had 22 missed calls.
That's so scary.
And they had called the police.
Bad for your parents.
They had called the police.
That's really bad.
And then, I got home, and I've never seen my father. And my dad is the sweetest, nicest, teddy bear of a man, but he was screaming at me and said that I was incredibly selfish and all this stuff. And I still feel so bad. So please, if you're listening,
just let people know where you are.
I was the problem. Here's the thing. I was empowered that I was like, I just graduated college. I don't need any, I don't have to check in with my parent. That's what I thought I was a real adult and I can make my own decisions.
But even as like in your 30s, I'm saying it's good to just let people know where you are, because you don't have, especially as a single person. Right. I mean, we have roommates at this moment, but there was a time I was living in a studio for 3 years prior to where I'm living now. Right. And like, I would think about that all the time. I'd be like, I could just fall down and hit my head and people wouldn't know I was here, or something bad could happen and like people wouldn't know for days. Right. And so like, it is important to just
it's and I,
know where you are and what's up.
I think my mom now listens to our pod. So Mom, again, I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
That was the dumbest thing. And my dad like occasionally will bring it up like at Christmas or something. Remember when you were so stupid? And you called the police. But I did end up dating that guy for 2 years and my parents loved him.
Yeah. Well, I guess all's well that ends well in that case. But you learned an important lesson.
Don't do that.
Don't do
ever. Respect your parents enough to like at least. I mean, now even when I go home for the holidays, and sometimes I do go out, I tell them, exactly
what the plan is and where you're going to be and who you're.
I mean, even 2 years ago, New Year's Eve, I was shit-faced drunk downtown and I called my mom like, Ubers are $120. Can you come get me? And she did in her pajamas.
That's a nice.
I was so drunk. She said it was really funny, but they're so good. I still feel so bad about that.
Yeah.
It was so shitty.
But
it was so awful. I was so selfish.
Yeah.
Again, I'm really sorry. Yeah. God, this was kind of therapeutic though.
Oh, good.
I haven't really talked about it much.
Yeah.
I mean, we put it in a song, but
yeah. I don't know. That's crazy. I don't know what the rule is. I don't know I think part of it is instincts and trying to be like whatever. And then also carry a rape whistle or gun. I don't know.
No. Yeah.
I don't know what, like you just try not to be too, I mean, this is that shitty thing too, where like, you try to tell a woman like, don't get too drunk because you can't, you have to try to maintain your wits about you. But I hate to tell women like,
I know.
I don't want to say that.
I know.
I just don't.
Don't leave your drink alone.
Don't ever leave your drink
when
alone.
you're on a date.
Don't ever leave your drink alone. And,
you've been roofied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was awful. I thought I was dying.
Yeah.
And luckily I got home.
Right.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like, God knows what would have happened.
I thought I'd been roofied, but I think I did
Just too many edibles.
Too many edibles.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's like, it is kind of a terrifying thing.
Right.
But I have a story that's unrelated to this, but I was just all of a sudden, as you're talking about like meeting someone at like the concert.
Yeah.
The last person I dated, I met at a bodega.
Right. Bodega boy.
Yeah. And that was really like, that was really empowering in a weird way because like I'd been in London visiting some friends.
Right.
And like, I think being the American in London was great. And all these boys were just like swarming around me. I was like, this is amazing.
Right.
And I was like, why am I so, I feel very attractive here. I feel very like outgoing and gregarious. I was meeting all these new people because I didn't really know a lot of people out there. And I was like, well, what am I doing differently there? And I was like, well, maybe when I get home, I just kind of get locked into this like New York City vibe of like,
don't touch me.
Don't touch me, like whatever. And so I was literally at the bodega at the time thinking about like, well, what can I do differently? In the city now and try to like meet people and not just with the online dating. And as I was thinking about it, this guy walks in and he like he shouted his order from the door or they knew his order. Something
you told me they knew his order.
Yeah. And I'd been going to that bodega for years and I was like, they don't know my order. And I thought because nobody asked me any questions.
But that's the name of the episode, by the way. Ask Katy a question. God damn it.
So my thought was, it made me laugh in my head that like, oh, they know his order. And like, that's kind of a funny thing. And I was like, if I was in London, I would have just said to the person, hey, that's so funny. And so I was like, well, then just say it. So I said it. I was like, hey, that's so funny. And then he was so taken aback that some girl was like talking to him. It just like blew him away.
Right.
And then we started talking. It turned out we had all these friends in common randomly.
Right.
And we'd even maybe met before at one point. And then he was like, gave me his number. And then I was like, oh. And then we went on some dates and he was really nice.
Right.
And we had a really nice like little thing for a hot second.
Right.
But I was like,
Well,
that
good
is
for
a good
you.
lesson.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't have to, we all don't have to feel like slaves to online dating.
Right.
You know, we can meet people. I have another friend who met his now, I don't know if they're married yet, fiance on the subway.
Oh, right.
They like made eyes at each other and then he was brave enough to give her his number and then she called him or emailed him.
You can still meet people in person.
But we also spend a lot of time like on our phones and with our earpods in.
Right,
And we're not talking to people and we're not connecting. So
sometimes I catch men's eyes on the subway and I'm like, oh, is that, nope, he's a murderer. And then I get scared. And then I look back at my phone. That's my problem. Those are my issues. I'm working through them. Not everyone is a murderer.
Are you sure?
I don't know, Katie. Will I die alone? Will I die alone at the hands of my lover?
Maybe both. I don't know if you're lucky. I don't know. That's
got weird.
terrible.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that got real weird. I guess I don't worry too much about the murder as much, but I do try to take care of myself. I think that the moral of the story is don't hide in your house.
That's true.
But
I got to get out. Stop
get out
watching
there.
Outlander, Marie. Get out there.
yeah, unless there's like an Outlander group you could join, meet some people like that. I think it's really funny that like
I love
there's
Scottish
always-
history. What can I say?
Sure.
I just
Well,
love
cool.
it.
Then
So great.
Scottish
Historical.
I think it's really funny
travel.
too that there's always these like women are like, oh, you know, like they have like singles nights at like the museum or something. And women are always like,
Oh,
this
yeah,
is such a great
it's
idea. And you
all
get there and
women.
it's all women. Here's a tip. If you're a guy looking for a lady, go to one of these singles nights at museums because girls always think it's a good idea, but then.
Well, Julia Johns, again, cooler girl. Come get your cooler. She wants me to go speed dating in New York.
I would totally do that.
I guess
I would totally do
what's
that for fun.
bookstore?
With the Strand?
No, the other one
Oh.
in Soho. They have they have a
Oh, yes. I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
I can't think what it's called.
think of it.
Anyway.
but they have speed dating there.
I would totally do that.
I was like,
just
speed dating in a
with
bookstore. That sounds fun.
Yeah, I think it would just be fun, silly thing to do.
Yeah.
With zero expectations.
Yeah.
But I think
be
that would
kinda
be speed dating. I think would actually that would solve my problems that I have with online dating, which is that like you like. I'm happy to meet people, but then if it doesn't work out, you're like, oh
Housing
God,
works.
I'm stuck here. What's it
Housing
called?
works.
Oh yeah, housing works.
Yes. Bookstore.
Yeah, I would do that. I mean, I don't have a lot of high expectations for that, but
They'd have to ask you questions. That would
Do
be
they
a
have
bummer.
to though, or do they?
Well, I
They
would
could just wait for me to ask them
That's
questions.
true.
As they tend to do.
That's true. Gotta ask
I
Katie
think
questions.
I'd be good at
I think you'd be great.
speed dating.
I think you'd be a great girlfriend.
I
I mean, you're a great
am a
comedy
great girlfriend.
wife.
I'm an excellent girlfriend.
Yeah.
Whatever. But that's not the only problem. The problem is I have to find someone that I like.
Right. Right. And I mean, we didn't talk about it when our episode for non-traditional lifestyles, but sometimes it's hard for our partners to wrap their brains around what we do and our traveling and how, you know, a lot of people think like, oh man, these girls are on the road. They must be getting so much D.
We're not.
Nope.
But also that's
Or just
by
going out getting
choice.
pie.
Yeah. I mean, we could, if we wanted
could,
to, we could
definitely.
be doing that. That's just not what we're looking for. And I think that, and I've said this before that like, I'm very aware that if a person's going to really date me and be the person I want them, not that I want them to be, but the person that is a good match for me, they have to be very strong men.
Right.
They have to be very
confident within
confident
themselves.
And they have to like be available, like
Right.
emotionally available, because I do want to connect with the person.
Right.
And also if you're traveling a lot, you do, you know, there's got to be a lot of trust there. And I've
Right.
had
Trust.
people break my trust before with that stuff. And that is not cute.
Right.
It's not
Right.
cute. And if you want something else, then don't fuck with me.
Right.
Go, you know, I make it very clear what I'm looking for. I am looking for a partner.
Right.
So like, get the fuck out of my face if you're like not looking for that.
Right.
Not interested.
Bye, boy.
Boy, bye.
Boy, bye. What is it? Boy, bye. Okay. quoting Beyonce.
Well, this might be a good time for
Troll time.
And today we're not doing like trolling message so much, but I had a couple funny messages that I got, like in people trying to like start a conversation.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And, you know, people try real hard and I get it. And I think the more you try, the good for you.
Right.
Good. So if you're doing more than hey, you're already ahead of the curve.
Right.
But some things are weird.
So wait, these are real messages.
These are real messages that I've received online.
Okay.
In various apps.
God, I cannot wait.
And some of them are intense. I don't really know. Okay. This one says, "Wow, Katy, you are so pretty. How have you become such a beautiful woman?" With like question mark, exclamation point, question mark, exclamation point.
Whoa. Wait, that's like the opening line.
Yeah. And I never wrote him back. That was it.
How?
It's like, do you want to be a pretty woman too?
Asking you questions.
Yeah. Here's one that we actually matched. And then this was what I got from him. And then I was like, nope. He wrote, "Hi, Kathy.
Oh no.
You look like Emily Osmond." I had to look up who that was, and I realized it was Haley Joel Osment's sister. Which I was like, okay. And then he said, "Let's get a drink someday." And then I just kind of was like, you know, I'm not feeling this dude. He called me Kathy. I'm not into
Kathy.
He did not read
You got to get the name right first.
No kidding. And then like the next day he wrote, "I'm still waiting."
Oh no.
And I was like, no, get out of my face. Get out of my face. Don't threaten me.
Wow.
Like first thing. This one was actually really nice. I thought, okay, this is sort of, it's not enough to get a conversation going, but at least it was nice. He wrote, "Hi, saw your profile and had to say, hope you have a nice day, question mark."
Oh, that's nice.
I feel like that's also canned though. I think that they didn't put my name in there or anything. I think that they just, This one made me laugh, but maybe it's not that funny. He wrote, "Hi, Katy. What are you hoping for in 2019?
Ooh.
Like I don't know. It's too much, but that was not bad either. That's
just so intense.
It just was a lot.
You have any jokes? Like any guys that open up with jokes?
No, I wish. The joke ones I would do better with. One guy wrote, "I'm one of the many candidate who like you to think about him and send message."
Uh-oh. I wonder where he's from.
Well, I was like looking at his picture. He says he's like 45, but he looked like he was 60. He looked like an angry Polish man that like yells on the sidewalk. Like I was like, oh,
yeah, perfect.
Perfect for me.
Perfect.
This one was just an odd one. He wrote, "Smiles are what happiness are made from."
Murderer.
I know, murderer.
Definitely serial killer.
It, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And then here's one that I started.
Oh no.
That was, I don't remember what was, so remember I say that like, I'll see a picture and I'll like,
you want to comment?
So I imagine this guy had a toothbrush in his hand or something. So I wrote, "Hi, so glad to see you brush your teeth."
Stop it.
I did. And then he wrote back. And then I don't know why I didn't write him back. I don't know what happened, but he wrote back, "Thanks for noticing my oral hygiene skills. Do you brush your teeth too?"
Oh, I like
and
that.
And this was really nice. And I don't know what happened to that. I don't know. Maybe I just went through a moment of giving up. And then my very favorite one.
Wait, what happened to Teeth Boy? That's it.
I don't know. I feel sad. Maybe I should try to rematch that one.
I like that.
Like, sorry, I let 3 years go by. How are you? And then it wasn't 3 years. But, and then my ultimate favorite was, "Hey, Jesse."
Hey, Jesse, get out of here.
Get out of my face.
Oh, no.
That feels very much. And then it kind of goes on to be like, "Are you ready to take a risk? Meet someone new? Someone with the same sense of adventure for travel, foodie, and movies? Check out my profile. Let's talk." I'm like, I think you copy pasted that.
Yeah.
And
one time with the guy that goes to me most recently that I just talked about, 7 dates in, our very first date, he was showing me a picture and he got a Tinder message. Like he was showing me from his phone.
Oh yeah.
And I saw that and he was just like, "Sorry." And I was like, yeah, we're all horrible human beings.
It's hard, especially on the first date. It's like, of course you're still online.
He was embarrassed and I was like, I had a flash of like, oh God, this is, online dating sucks. Well, I couldn't access my apps, to find some fun things. My fondest memory of, messaging boys was when we were in LA and one of our pretty well-known comedian friends took my phone and just started messaging boys for me.
Yeah.
That was fun.
It was so funny.
It was very funny. I wish I had that conversation.
Good story.
Yeah, good story.
No, but it was hilarious.
so
You should have
funny.
been there. It's too bad.
Yeah, too bad. I highly suggest giving your phone to your friends to play the game of finding
my
love.
God, I'd be so good at that, or at least I'd have a good time doing it. I have a guy friend that's online dating someone.
Yeah,
I think he's always
about him.
doing it wrong. I really think he's doing it wrong. I think I could definitely find him some nice girls to go on dates with.
Right.
He always ends up with like these weird ladies. I don't know what his deal is. And he's great. He's the catch. He should definitely like find somebody on there. But I think I was like, please let me just
let me do it for you.
Please let me just to get, cause I think once he met them, it'd be fine.
Right.
But it's just like, I think he's getting kind of tired of it because he's been doing it a long time too. So he's sort of like, what's your deal? He's like very like angry when he starts. He's like, no, you can't be that angry.
Well, I got a message yesterday on Instagram. I don't want to brag, but it said, can't, handle, how, pretty, you, are,
Like,
I was like,
sorry.
oh my God.
Sorry, not sorry.
That's so
I
nice.
get some of those DMs.
But
where somebody's
it's a gay man. It's a gay man who
nice.
just was sending me a compliment. Thank you. I was like, oh my God, is this my husband? Nope, he has a husband. Okay. Well, he was just commenting about my beauty, which I haven't heard about that in a while. So that was nice.
nice. That always is nice.
It was very nice.
Yeah.
But I think, if there are any heterosexual men out there that need a pickup line, can't, handle, how pretty you are.
Yeah, I will say that kind of makes, sometimes I don't like it when they open with the looks thing.
Right.
I feel like,
I'm shallow. I like that.
oh, okay. Oh, I mean, then
Just kidding.
maybe
I don't
I'm
know.
wrong. I don't know.
No, I want to joke.
It makes me a little
I
uncomfortable when the first thing they say is
Yeah.
like, you're so beautiful. I'm like, okay. I mean, that's great. I'm glad you think that.
Right.
But like, I don't know why that puts me off.
Right.
Maybe it makes me think that they just want to fuck.
Fuck. Well, we're going to have a whole episode dedicated to catcalling. But when I get catcalled the most is when I'm walking to the gym with absolutely no makeup on and in just like grunge, nasty clothes. And that's when I get hit on the most.
Probably because you're wearing tight pants.
Is it?
Probably.
Maybe, probably. But,
Got that camel toe in full view.
Yeah.
Like, hey, buddy.
But I want to turn, one time I did turn and I said, oh, if you like this, well,
wait
till you see me all
after
lit
I
up.
shower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sidebar, the other day at the gym, I told you this, this woman came up after me, after the workout class, and I thought she was a fan. I thought she was like, I've listened to the podcast. She slinked up to me and then she goes, I can see everything when you bend over. I can see your butthole winking.
Oh,
it's like, what?
That's why you get so many catcalls
That's
on the
probably
street.
what it is. I need
see your
thin
butthole.
leggings. You can see my
That
butthole
so you know
winking.
what?
Ooh.
So the moral of this story is forget online dating. Just wear very thin.
There you go.
Pants.
We figured it out.
Get that butthole out there, girl.
Yeah.
Get that butthole, girl.
Get it out there.
Get it out of there.
All right. Well, I think there's
solved
nothing
it.
really else to
We've
say about
solved
online
it.
dating. Get your butthole out there.
Put your butthole out.
Put it out
into the world.
Out into the world.
You too can find
start
a
winking
man or
at
woman.
anybody you want.
Yeah. You're
You're welcome.
Do a downstairs wink
for love.
with your butthole.
Downstairs wink for love. We should write a song about. No, I don't think so. But maybe. Who knows? Guys, thank you so much for going on this fun little journey.
Did you make it through this? I don't know. I did. It's kind of fun.
I think it's so fun. I think lots of advice out there that we just gave.
Did we?
Yes. Get your butthole
Ask
out there.
Motherfucking questions.
Ask.
That's the number. Ass.
Motherfucker.
Your ass.
I don't know. Yes. Ask questions. That's it.
Do it.
If you've enjoyed this episode today, please, review us. Write a review. Subscribe. Rate it. Give it stars. Tell your grandma about difficult women.
Send us an email at difficultwomanpodcast@gmail.com telling us your horrible dating stories and we'll read them live on air.
Yeah.
Is that how that works?
That'd be so good.
Oh my God, just please send us some mail.
Oh my God. Well, you know what song we're going to play out?
I mean,
we have the
clearly.
perfect song for you.
Yep.
Take
Enjoy. Take it
it away,
us.
Katy and Marie.
letting